there's life beyond your suicidal thoughts. There's life beyond your mental illness.
That is good thinking.
Yes, there's a story beyond what you're going through. There's a story beyond the situation right now that you may not see.
Yes.
But it's not the end of your story.
Yes. Preach, preach, preach. Welcome to Unfold, where we see with a different eye and of course visualize with a colorful mind. My name is Hildah Lumati. Now, unfortunately in life, at one point or another, we experience loss or grief. And this is because we end up losing people in our lives. We even lose our loved ones. And it becomes very difficult when it comes to healing from loss and grief. Cherop is here today to help us deal with loss and grief because it's her story. She's been there. Karibuni sana.
My name is Cherop. I am a mental health advocate, founder of the Semicolon Nation Africa. I am a writer and an upcoming author. I love to read, write, and travel. Yes.
Rebecca, welcome to Unfold.
Thank you very much.
I am so happy and honored to host you today.
And I'm humbled.
We're going to talk about dealing with loss and grief.
Yes.
It is something that, unfortunately, as human beings, we have to go through.
Yes.
Because haujangi time ya mtu ikifika, and it really leaves a lot of people devastated.
Oh, yes.
You've been there?
Yes, I
You've
have.
experienced that.
Yes.
And you're here to share your story and also help us deal with loss and grief.
Yes.
So please just tell us, how was it for you and what really happened?
So for me, it was a very traumatic experience for me. And losing somebody that you love at a very young age is very, very complicated. So I lost both my parents when I was 5, and then so because we live in a society that is not open to sharing issues and things that have happened, I grew up with an expectation of expecting my parents to maybe come back, because every time I would ask, they would be like, watarudi, you know. Yes, but then you grow up with that expectation that walisema ati watarudi.
Yes.
So I reached about 8 and I realized that these people were not coming back because so much had happened after they passed on.
So who was raising you?
So I was with an uncle of mine, yes, in Uganda. So we're in Kenya, and then after they passed on, you know, the way in the African setting, when parents die, kids are taken over by family, and then so one goes with an auntie, another one goes with an, so that is what happened to us. And so I went with my uncle who was in Uganda. Yes, so at about 8, 3 years later, I discovered by myself, you know, you're now at school, you're a little young girl, and then you discover what death is exactly. And then now you know that truth is, reality is, these people are not going to come back. And so that's when I started grieving. So because I had not dealt with it, I didn't know what it was when it happened. I now started the journey of grieving. And so as a child, there's so many things that happened to me that I didn't know then, that there were child mental health disorders that I had until when I was really, really diagnosed with mental illness. And
so you can actually be diagnosed with mental illness?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can go to hospital and they'll know that you're either depressed or you have anxiety or you have bipolar. So yes. And so so I dealt with grief. I dealt with prolonged grief because I hadn't grieved for long. And so reality hit me, and then you're a child, you have all these questions to ask, and there's no one to answer you. Yes, so so I grew up, I had the childhood disorders. There's eating disorder, I used not to eat, I used not to sleep. So much happened between in those years, really. Yes, and so I grew up very well. I go to school, I go to high school, campus. I finished campus, and now after campus, the real, life now starts, You're done with school, and so you have to look for a job. You have to grow up and, start
adulting.
Adulting now starts.
Yes.
Hakuna kuuliza sijui pocket money what.
Ukweli.
Yes. And so all these things that I've been carrying now start to unfold, because now you're in your own space. You're not at home, you're living alone, and then you have a job, you're chasing dreams. And so the fact that I was put in a space where I was now alone, I now started having all these things back.
Yes.
And so I started to grieve, and now all these years that I've been, about 15 years now, that I'd gone after my parents passed on.
Yes.
So 15 years later, I now really start grieving. And so I go through, it started with stress, and then it went to depression, anxiety, like that. And then the stress also really affected me. And so I get into a period where I even resigned from my job because I couldn't concentrate at work. I was grieving. I don't know if you know what daddy issues are.
You were having daddy issues?
Yes, I had daddy issues because I loved my dad so much. And now it really affected me when I was grown up, because I was yearning for a father figure, and you're trying to search. Yes, and so these are things that really, I wanted that hug, that fatherly hug, and then
someone to just call dad, mom.
You have brothers, yes, but they're not going to feel that gap. You're not going to carry that weight to them. And so I grew up with that. So I quit my job. I'm staying in my own house. I start to become suicidal, because now I'm thinking, where am I living? I need this and I can't get it. So I had so many thoughts, and I can't really say the number of times I attempted suicide, but well, thanks to God that He kept my life.
Yes.
And so I go through all that, but the most interesting bit is I didn't share my experience with anyone. No one knew
keeping
what I
it
was going
yourself.
through. Yes, I was keeping it to myself. I was the happiest child outside my door. But the most saddest person in the world inside in my bed. And so I go through that moment. Sometimes I share my story and people get shocked that they're with me and they never noticed anything. But then there was just so much that was happening, and then so because you're depressed, you have all these issues, you can't be very stable in a relationship because you're trying to carry your pain into somebody else.
That is very true.
Yes. And so I became toxic to the person I was dating. And then I quit relationships. I couldn't hold on with I couldn't stay with friends, because sometimes, for example, we'd organize, let me say, a party, and then you don't show up because that day you just don't want to leave bed. You want to be alone. And so, so you start to lose trust from friends because of that. I mean, they don't know what you're going through, and so they start saying, she's not like this, she's not like this. And so all those things come up. So that was my experience really dealing with grief. It was bad because it led me into mental illness, which is something that is really eating up so many people. Yes, it might not be grief, it might not be loss, but it could be something, it could be anything. And then
is there a difference between, is there a difference between loss and grief? If I may ask.
The loss is you can lose anything. You can lose a person that you love, you can lose
your job,
book, you can lose your job, but then how you react to that loss is what leads to grief. You get? Yes. So I can lose this cup and it's okay. I've lost it, I'll get another one. Yes. But then you can lose somebody that you're not attached to, and it's normal. You get?
Yes, yes.
And then
That is
now
true.
somebody that you lose, and you start grieving because they are part of you. And now that is when you start grieving. You go through the motion of going through, you know, the motions of missing that person and wanting them close and wanting to talk to them, or you lose something and you're so attached to it, and now you have to go through that period of learning to survive without it. So that is grief,
Which is one of the hardest things ever.
It's very hard because it's just so tough.
Yes.
Yes.
And you were talking about loss and grief in relation to mental health.
Yes.
I want you to keep elaborating on that. How does it affect someone's mental health?
So how you grieve really matters. You need a support system that is going to help you. If you're going to lose somebody that you love and then, you know, umejifungia tu kwa nyumba, it's going to hit you hard. But then it's better if you talk about it, especially if you're grown. You talk about it. Just be like, you know what, I miss this person. Come out, share your thoughts. It's very, because the more you share something, the more you let it out. Yes. So share your thoughts, share your pain, share your everything. It's just, the problem is we live in a society that judges a lot. The way we grieve is not the same.
Yes.
Yes. So me, I could have lost my dad 20 years ago, and I still miss him. I still, sometimes you don't even feel like living, but you want that. Yes.
Yes.
But then you can't get it. But then somebody is going to lose their parent, and 2 months down the road, they're okay.
They're okay. That's
yes. So it's different for all of us, and I think we need to learn how to accommodate each other, and also just understand people that we are not the same. The way you do something is not the way I do something. We are created differently by God. Yes. So understanding one another is very important, and also just share. Get somebody that is not going to judge you. We live in a judgmental world. We Kenyans love judging a lot. And so get somebody that is not going to judge you, somebody that you trust to help you walk through the journey of grief. Yeah, I think that's very important.
And I always say the aftermath of speaking out is the beginning of healing.
Yes.
It is very important.
It's very important.
To speak out.
Yes.
And Rebecca, we are living in a crazy world. Life is so fragile.
Yeah.
Leo utakuwa na mtu, kesho hayuko. Sindio?
Yes.
Like, people need to appreciate life.
Yes, and now you know COVID came, and you're seeing your loved ones die, and then you can't bury them because of all those, you know, the whole COVID issues, SOPs, and then you can't. So you go through grief because you can't even bury your own person. You can't say goodbye to them. You don't, so yeah, we need to appreciate life. And be grateful, for life. Be grateful to God for
everything.
For everything.
Literally.
Yes.
What can loss and grief rob from an individual, if I may ask?
Wow. So loss and grief robs us. I think for me, it's personal. You can decide that it will rob you something, and you can decide that it won't rob you. Yes.
It's a decision.
Yes, it's a decision because. Yes, it robs us the joy because you lose your loved one. It robs us so many things. Sometimes, you know, when I was grieving, I would think about, you know, the possibility of if my parents were still alive, where would I be? Like, there are all those things that you start to think about. Maybe life would be better, you know. Yes, but then you decide, you choose. Are you going to let your life, are you going to let grief rule your life? Are you going to, you know, hold on to somebody that is gone and then just mess your life like that? You start drinking, you start doing drugs.
Sometimes you get stuck.
Yes, you get stuck. Are you going to lose the world because somebody has gone? So it's a decision that you make. Yes, you either you learn to be strong, you learn to, you know, hold on to people, or you decide to fall. Yeah, and just it can ruin your life.
Me, I always say, when you, me, I haven't been there before losing someone very close, but I'm imagining putting myself in that shoe. Sometimes you don't know what to tell this person. You know, you can be telling this person, you know, everything happens for a reason. God says, you know, it won't make sense at that time.
Don't make sense at all.
Yes, so me, I always say, just allow someone to mourn, cry, and let it out.
Very important.
Because one day at a time, they will start healing. And talking of the healing process, you're healing. I don't think, are you have you stopped healing? Are you okay right now?
Healing is a process.
It is a process.
Yes. So it's continuous, because now, of course, I'm not like the way I used to be. I'm not mentally ill now. Yes, I
So
got
what helped you, by the way?
What helped me is, wow. What helped me is, one, when I was diagnosed with mental illness, it took me really long, about 3 years, to accept to take treatment. But yes, so I went through treatment, but I think for me it's grace, that it's God that healed me.
Yes, the grace.
It's God that healed me, because He met me at a point where I was suicidal then, and I remember the day, it was 11th January 2019. Yes, I don't know what happened. I was in church, and I can't even explain it, but something happened, and like my heart was at peace. I cried. I'd never cried like that. I don't know in how many years. But yes, for me it was God. God just met me at a point where I think He knew this one. I need to save, and He's there for all of us.
And He will always meet you at your point of need.
Meet us.
I know sometimes things won't make sense.
Yes.
But when you trust in Him,
yes,
He will show up.
Yes.
And He has a way of just comforting us and telling us, you know what, it's okay, I'm here, it's gonna be fine.
Like if the world does not understand, just go and close your door and cry to God. He'll always show up. Yes.
And just listening to your story and looking at you right now talking, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
There are people who, like you've said, you had suicidal thoughts. People think it's the end of life. Like
It's not the end of life. It's totally not the end of life, because there's so much to life. I started an organization called the Semicolon. Semicolon is, unajua yo semicolon, the English, the
semicolon, yes.
Yes, so that's before a full stop. And so it literally means that there's life beyond your suicidal thoughts. There's life beyond your mental illness.
That is good thinking.
Yes, there's a story beyond what you're going through. There's a story beyond the situation right now that you may not see.
Yes.
But it's not the end of your story. Yes.
Preach. And I know there are so many people who are watching who unfortunately they've lost their loved one. They don't know where to go from here. They're broken. They don't know how to, maneuver through this life, because sometimes you realize you're so attached to someone, and when they're gone, reality really hits you. It becomes so difficult. So I just want you to take your time, Rebecca, and talk to those people who are watching and they're in that shoe right now.
Yeah. So one is keep hope alive. I know it's tough. It's very, very tough for you to go through the emotions right now, but keep hope alive. Even when you feel that everything is at the end, keep hope alive. Just trust in God. I know there's a point in my life where I was so angry at God. Yeah,
I am like, telling you, it happens.
How can you allow this to happen? How do you allow me to go through such pain as a child? As when I need my parents most is when you decided to take them away. And so I was so angry at God. I was angry at anything Christian. At some point I was even almost turning to be an atheist.
Oh my
goodness. Yes. But then just keep the hope alive. Keep hope alive. There's always that silent voice inside of you talking to you.
Yes.
And telling
that is
you
the
to
Holy
push
Spirit.
Yes,
I love saying it's the Holy Spirit, not something told me.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So just rely on Him alone. I know the world might not understand your pain.
Yes.
They might not understand your pain. Some will, if you're lucky, if you have a good support system, but many people won't understand. So keep hope alive. Trust in God, even when you feel like it's the end. Your story is not the end.
It is not the end. That
until He says that it's the end. So keep hope alive until you'll see the fruit of, I'm a product of that. I'm here to testify. It's sharing my story is like a testimony really for me. So keep the hope alive, and then also talk about it. Just talk about your pain. If you can't talk to somebody else, get your phone, write all your silly thoughts and everything on your phone, or you get a diary and write writing helps you. It helped me a lot. That is how I started writing, because I didn't know how to talk to my friends about my problems. So I had a book where I used to write everything, every thought. I used to write it down, and it helped me because, like, when I'm writing, the emotions are coming out, and so you end up crying, and then the tears come out, and then you're able to. And then I realized when I cried, it helped me become a little calm. So it's okay to cry. Cry the way you want, you know. Sometimes I would cry in office. I would just put my head down and nalia. But it helped me. People didn't know, you know. And even till today, when I'm going through something, I cry. So it's okay to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. If you can't share, write, do something. But then keep the hope alive. That's what I can say. And then also seek treatment. There are so many organizations or health facilities giving out counseling, therapy. You need those things. You know, just go talk to either counselors, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist, and I'm sure they will be able to help. Because you know, at least Kenya has tried to do so much about mental health, and I'm glad that they're, you know, putting it out there and helping people out.
And I think 10th October is World
Mental Health. It was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's very important. Your mental health is key, so just talk to somebody, talk to them, they'll be able to help you. Yes. Treatment is there, it's available. It's just that we live in a society where we don't talk about this. There's so much stigma that we're trying to fight. But then keep the hope alive, seek treatment, and talk to somebody. Yes.
Let's talk about Gracefully Mended.
Yeah.
You are a blogger.
I'm a blogger.
Oh my goodness. I went through your blog and I was just like, wow. And the word Gracefully Mended.
Yeah. Now I have a tattoo.
And you have a tattoo.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Gracefully Mended is a book that I'm writing. It should be out between now and Christmas. You guys can wait for it. Yes. Gracefully Mended is a book about me. It's my story. I'm sharing my story in detail, not just, you know.
And you know those words, Gracefully Mended.
Yes. So Gracefully Mended. So you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
If it wasn't for grace,
yes, you wouldn't be here.
Yes, I wouldn't be here. So it mended me. It mended my heart,
so
my
lovely.
mind, everything about me. And so I'm writing this book to just teach youth and adolescents about mental health. I want people to learn from my story. How do you deal with grief? How do you deal with mental illness?
Yes.
So there's so much that I share in this book that I haven't even shared here. But it's a good book, and I can't wait for the public to have it, because I know people need it.
Yes.
People really need to know, because I'm addressing mental health, you know, dealing with depression, anxiety, and all those things. And then I have people sharing, in the book I have people sharing their experiences and thoughts about what they've been through, people that have also gone through it. Yes, so I can't wait for it to be out.
Me too.
Yes,
I'm looking forward.
Yes. It's an amazing book. Very amazing.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
It reminds me of what we always say, the grace of God is sufficient.
Very sufficient.
And it's the one thing that carries us throughout life and sustains us.
Yes.
And you just thinking about writing such a book is very beautiful.
Yes.
And I'm so proud of you, Rebecca. Oh my goodness. Continue sharing the knowledge. I love it when people sit and speak. And I love hearing people say, I am the founder of. I'm the founder of. You know, it reminds me of purpose.
We're here to help each other and also grow together. Yes. You don't want somebody to go through what you went through.
Exactly.
So you have God has given you the grace to live and help our life, you know, and save our soul. So it's I believe in sharing stories.
Me too.
It's very, very important. Yes. You share the stories, you share your lived experiences, because people are able to learn. Yeah.
And even when you're sharing your story, you're sharing knowledge.
Yes.
Because even the Bible says, my people perish due to lack of knowledge. So if God has taken you through something, there is someone who needs to hear from you, so that they can also pick themselves up and move.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure having you here.
And
we have enjoyed. My goodness. So I'm looking forward to your book.
Thank you.
I know it's coming soon.
It's coming soon. Between now and Christmas.
I hope utanita launch.
Lazima. Lazima.
Asante sana, Rebecca.
People in the public. Yeah. It's going to be mega.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was Rebecca Cherop for you. And guys, life is fragile. So when you wake up in the morning, like I always say, tell God thank you. And like she says, the grace of God is sufficient. It is only grace that carries you in life and sustains you, because God is a faithful God. So if God can mend Rebecca, he can also do it to you. So don't give up. Don't feel bad about yourself. Don't hate on God because something is happening. You know, God always has a reason why we have to go through specific things in life. What is your story? Are you willing to share with us? Unfold is here for you. How can you reach us? You can either call us, you can text us, or you can email us. And we also host psychologists, mentors. I mean, just come and shed some light in specific areas of life coaches. And just in case you're willing to support our content, our till number is 5548597. I hope you enjoyed this, and may you receive the knowledge that we have shared today. Until next time, bye.